Hello, good evening, Love Wrestling community, friends, family. How are we this evening? I am JPJ. As you see, I have some friends with me again this evening. I have Ed joining us again. He was with me last night with Astrid making her debut when we did the NXT Live War Report. And I have, you know him, I know him. We have Pluggo here as well. I will start with you, Ed. How are we doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing well. That was an entertaining episode of AEW. There was a couple down spots where it felt like it dipped a bit, but definitely a quality show. Big surprises. Big show next week.
Oh yeah.
Big show next week.
Oh yeah.
And AEW made more news, I would want to say, off TV this week than on TV, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we sure will. And we want to say hello at Chris Parrish saying hello. And Astrid, hello. Hope you guys are well tonight. And Pluggo, how we doing, brother? How are we? Long time no see. Can you hear us? Uh-oh.
The laptop.
Oh, no. Can you not hear us? Oh, he's gone. Wow, two-man show.
Uh-oh.
Two-man show. It's okay. We roll with it. But as Astrid said, really good show tonight. Very good show tonight. I thought, AEW has been kind of hitting on all cylinders lately. Especially, the last 3 weeks or so when they've had live crowds. It's felt like they've been waiting for live crowds. And they've come in like just guns blazing. Guns blazing. And we're going to get into it because next week, like you mentioned at the top, next week is lined up to be a ridiculously loaded show. But yeah, let's start with the stuff off the show this evening. Obviously, Fightful Select had a report earlier today that said one CM Punk is in talks to potentially have an in-ring return, and that high officials in WWE believe that he is going to AEW, and apparently he has been talking with a high executive in AEW for a little bit now as a return. There was some more news about somebody else potentially signing or going to AEW, but let's focus on Punk to start it because that was the first kind of news that hit the day today. What do you think about that, Ed? What do you think?
That's exciting if it's true. Like if that story is true and Punk really wants to come back and he's going to get back in the wrestling ring, which has always been kind of iffy. Punk has talked to people for years. He's been like, I'll take the phone calls. I'll talk to whoever wants to talk. And if the money's right and the story's right, I'll come back. But it seems like nothing ever works the way he wants it to. If he's coming back, I mean, like the Fightful thing said, the guy's in his 40s. He's younger than AJ Styles. He's younger than John Cena. He's 2 years older than Bobby Lashley. He's not out of his prime. Now, is he in ring shape? Is he ready to make a return? That's a big question. But I'll be excited to see him wherever he goes because he's super talented and him in a ring is money.
Yeah, 100%. And, he's been a guy that everyone's been clamoring about since he left, right? And it's it's been a long time, so a lot of people are kind of like, all right, I'm over this. Like, I'm over the CM Punk chance. I'm over that. But the truth of the matter is, if he does come back, that's going to be a major deal. That's going to be a big time deal. And everyone, or most wrestling fans, are going to be super duper excited about it. And if it's an AEW, as you know, we have Ecto saying if Punk truly comes to AEW, the dream matches are endless. They are. It's exciting. It's really exciting.
What's the top 3 on your wish list if he comes to AEW? Let's fantasy book here. You Punk says I got 3 matches.
Oh God. Well, Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
That's oh God. You put me on the spot. What are you thinking about? I would love to see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll let you go.
No, you're good. I was saying.
Oh God. No, you. I'm sorry. You're going. I'm not going to talk.
Moxley. I think number 1 on my list is Moxley. I think CM Punk versus Moxley would be incredible. I would want to see CM Punk versus MJF.
Okay. I would like to see the promos leading up to that.
The
match,
promos for that match
sure.
alone would be worth the price of admission to even a substandard match, which neither of those guys are going to give you.
Yeah.
And then the third one, I'll save the third one because the third one ties into the next story. And I think if we're talking AEW and both stories are true, then my third dream match, because I'm not taking Omega, because Omega's obviously on that dream match list.
Course. Yeah, of course.
But if both stories are true, I think the other match is definitely the other one I want.
Yeah. I would not mind seeing CM Punk versus Pac as well. That would be one that I would I'd be very okay with. There's a lot. And since you kind of foreshadowed a little bit, the second rumor that kind of floated around kind of during the show on Twitter, I believe you have the name. I'm drawing a blank on the name.
It's
who reported it.
Cassidy from bodyslam.net.
Okay. I did see Sean Ross Sapp.
He's looking into it.
Yeah, he retweeted it and he said, I can't confirm this, but I do know that Cassidy has a lot of connects in AEW.
Cassidy Haynes.
And, when Sean Ross Sapp says something of that, obviously he says he can't confirm it, and he is a guy that breaks a lot of news. But when he says he knows for a fact the guy has a lot of connections in AEW, there's merit to that. You have to believe it. And that is that Brian Danielson has signed with AEW, and they just haven't announced it yet, but he has signed with AEW. So now what do you think about this news? And I know obviously you said foreshadowing. I assume you meant CM Punk versus Brian Danielson would be
absolutely
on the dream match in an AEW setting. A different setting other than,
That could be in a bingo hall. That could be at a racetrack. That could be at a carnival. I don't care where that match happens. If I can have that match, I'll take it. But yes, Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk would be the ultimate dream match that WWE never had the chance to give us.
Are you back? Are you alive, my friend?
Dude, the internet's broken today. I don't know if you guys touched on it. CM Punk.
We are right now.
Everything crashed, and I think Spencer forgot that our show's actually tomorrow.
The one where we break the budgets tomorrow. Yeah. You need to be pulling the plug on that sucker, not the one tonight. We got important AEW wrestling things to discuss tonight.
My God, they break the internet today, and that's what happened. My whole thing crashed and burned to the ground.
So we started with the CM Punk news, and we were just starting about the second rumor, the Brian Danielson one. So before we dive in, because we literally just started talking about that,
okay,
talk to me about how you feeling about that CM Punk rumor.
I am excited. CM Punk is my favorite wrestler of all time. And he got me hooked back into wrestling after I fell out a little bit. So I always fall for the is he coming back rumor, right? So my heart has been broken 976 times now, I think. So I hope that this one comes to fruition. I hope they sign him. I don't care if he just sits in the ring. I don't care if he does commentary. I just want to see him on my TV screen doing wrestling things. So that's it. I'm just excited. And he didn't show up tonight, and I was a little disappointed, but that's
that would have been fun. That would have been a fun thing to discuss.
I'd have been even more upset if my internet crashed on that.
Yeah. All right. And then Ed gave me a pop quiz. He said, what were your, right off the bat, 3 best dream matches in AEW for CM Punk?
All of them? I don't care.
It's true. It's true.
But honestly, if it's Punk, I think there's a big story they could tell with Cody. I think you could literally almost, and I know that people wouldn't want to do it because it's WWE almost, but you could take the WWE Triple H Punk story and almost pretty much transplant it and even ramp it up to a degree, because as we've seen, AEW is willing to go a little further than WWE. So I'll see that. I would like to see him, do something with like the Darby Allins, the Sammy Guevaras, the Jungle Boys of the world. I'd like to just see him in the ring with this young up and coming talent and just put them over. Really, that's kind of what I want to see him do. He doesn't need to come in and challenge Omega. I don't need to see that. I mean, it would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm there for it. But I think if he comes in, it should just be people like I want to see even Jericho and him having a AEW feud could be a lot of fun. There's just so much history.
I think Parrish was the first one to say it, and you just said it too. But Punk versus Darby Allin would be a nice little program that I would enjoy. I would enjoy that.
Give me Lee Johnson, QT Marshall. I don't care. Just put CM Punk in the center of an AEW ring in a wrestling match, and your boy Pluggo is there. I've been all day. I've been just thinking about this.
Just ready. He's like, I can't wait to talk about this tonight. I can't wait to talk about it.
I know. I even texted you, and I was like, if he comes back tonight, it's gonna be wild.
He's like, I'm gonna crazy.
I'm gonna go nuts.
I'm not.
I'd be screaming, running around the house. Like I'm not joking. Because think about it like this: I popped for John Cena, and I'm a CM Punk guy.
Yeah.
I popped hard for Cena, and I don't even like John Cena. My favorite wrestler is going to come back after almost 8 years away. Come on now, hose me down.
Yep. And then right as you pop back in here, we were discussing, because on Ed's list was, if this second rumor happens to be true, he on his dream matches was CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan. Yes. We've seen it in WWE a few times, but outside of WWE, letting them kind of do what we know they can do, that would be really nice. And we were going to dive in to talk about our opinions of this news, where it has not been confirmed, but a guy which Sean Ross Sapp says has high contacts in AEW said that Daniel Bryan has signed with AEW. That came out during the show.
Let's go. That's why I'm wearing the Cincinnati cap with Sean Ross Sapp today.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Fan, but no, Daniel Bryan. If he signed, that's huge, right? That's That's they're I don't know what they're going for, right? Like, so it just seems like they're just stacking assets and like they're pulling like a WWE where they're stacking up, but those are names that you have to get. And I don't want to hear, it's ex WWE. CM Punk's available and wants to wrestle. Anybody needs.
Yeah, you sign him.
Daniel Bryan, Andrade, Black. You sign all these people. I don't care who you are. If they're all 4 in the WWE, we're talking about how amazing that roster is, right? So why not? If the WWE doesn't want them, let AEW have them and let us enjoy. And as we've seen AEW's track record, as I've been doing this War Report with you a few times, they never miss, and they let their wrestlers tell their story in that ring, right? Every match
100%.
Feels bigger. It feels different. Every time you have a rematch, which is very rare, it's different style. It's I want to see this version of Daniel Bryan versus, like I said, everyone. I'm just excited to be a wrestling fan today. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm like jacked up today.
I think we kind of all are. Like, I think these last few weeks have been super duper exciting. Super duper exciting, and I have optimism. AEW and NXT, which is what this show is, they are, they've lived up to my expectations. Like, I enjoy them every week. I think they're great shows almost every week. And I think even like a show that you wouldn't consider great, at the least, it's still a solid, enjoyable show to watch. You know what I mean? But I have optimism about the main roster. I have optimism about wrestling as a whole right now. And I just think exciting things are coming down the line the rest of this year and hopefully further. And it's just super duper exciting to be a wrestling fan right now.
They've nailed the FOMO thing, the fear of missing out. Like, AEW's nailed it. And WWE in the past few shows, in the past week since fans have been back, are getting there where it's like, it's becoming like, if you're not sitting there watching it, you're going to miss something huge, right? And we'll talk about what you would have missed tonight if you didn't show up at 8:00.
Yes, we will. And we're going to dive into that right now. So the show starts with Chris Jericho coming down, the crowd serenading him per usual of Judas. And he goes one-on-one with Shawn Spears. And this is the first of the stipulation matches that MJF has for Chris Jericho. The Labors of Jericho. This was the first one. And the stipulation was that it was 100% legal for Shawn Spears to use a chair, and it was illegal, like normal wrestling rules, for Jericho too. I thought this was a really good match. I thought Shawn Spears looked excellent in this match. And I thought MJF, when he was on commentary, he was obviously being the heel jerk MJF, but I thought he did a very good job of putting Spears over and talking about how smart he is and how intellectually great of a wrestler he is and how just good of a worker he is. So I thought he did a really good job of putting Spears over, because we don't see Spears a ton in long form matches on Dynamite. I thought this was a good match. Jericho did end up winning at the end. Pluggo, I'll let you lead. What did you think about this opening match with Shawn Spears and Jericho?
I thought it was a solid opener, and it's always a killer when you open with Judas, man. Like, I love that song, and I love the crowd reaction. I will say, very solid match. They let Shawn Spears get a little bit more offense in than I really had thought at first. I kind of thought with the Tears of the Labors of Jericho, this would have been like, quick. Just kind of like Spears screwed up, and then MJF takes it out on Spears type deal. But they really let Spears look great. And
yeah.
And then MJF on commentary, always $1 million. I did chuckle at the comment he made about the women of Texas, knowing that
of Dallas specifically.
Yes, but Charles Barkley earlier this year had to apologize for slandering the women of San Antonio.
Yes, I did know
on
that.
a TNT program, so I thought that was fun. But
Wonderful.
no, he comes out, he nails that Judas effect, and the crowd pops. Shawn Spears in defeat. In my opinion, this is probably the best he's looked since Cody. So good all around, good starter for me.
Yeah, and Ed, before we talk about what happened after this match, which was the big news of the night, your opinions on this match?
I loved it. I mean, Chris Jericho and Shawn Spears. How can you go wrong? With apparently now I'm not a full-time AEW watcher. I haven't watched week in and week out. I don't know how long he's been the Canadian God, as MJF was calling him.
Yeah.
But apparently the Canadians have a new Lord and Savior, and it's Shawn Spears. But I love Shawn Spears. I loved him as Ty Dillinger. I loved him as Stan. He's fantastic. And Chris Jericho, the dude just doesn't lose it. Like he just has it. And
he did
no matter how many years,
top rope Hurricane Rana tonight. That was pretty badass.
Yeah,
for Chris Jericho to do that,
it's something else that this guy can be in the shape he's in at the time of life that he's in, and putting on banger matches to open a show. He's curtain jerking on these shows, and he's still looking as good as the guys in the main event.
Yeah,
and he didn't have to do that, right? No. We all remember when he botched the lion salt and the internet went nuts, right? So like he knows like that he's going to get flamed for this if it doesn't go well, and he still goes out there and puts it on. So like good on him, man. Like Chris Jericho looking like looking a little bit more like me these days than his prime, but he's still out there putting in that work, man. Bravo.
Yeah, man. And I thought, towards the end of the match, Tully's at ringside. He starts distracting the ref when Jericho has the walls of Jericho on Spears, which Spears was tapping, and the ref not seeing it. We then get Sammy Guevara coming down to a huge pop for Sammy Guevara. He's a star. He's going to be a star for a long, long time. He gets rid of Tully, and he leaves, which leads to Jericho hitting the Judas effect on Spears for the win. But then we get MJF getting up from the announcer's table, tells him to cut the music. He says, all right, you got lucky tonight, Chris, but next week for the second labor, we're going to have ourselves a no disqualifications match, and we are going to have it against Nick, pardon my French, fucking Gage. And Nick Gage comes out to a gigantic pop. I was popping on my couch like, no friggin' way. No way is Nick Gage on my television screen right now. It was amazing. I loved it. And I don't dislike death matches, but they're not my favorite of matches, but I'll enjoy a good one. Like, it's fine. But I'm not the hugest pro deathmatch guy. But this was awesome, and I'm happy for Nick Gage. Good for him. He's going to fight on AEW Dynamite, and what probably might be the main event next week, maybe.
It should. I don't think you can do that and then have
at the beginning and then have a show afterwards.
Yeah,
excuse the barbed wire and broken shards of glass and light bulbs. Pardon.
Pizza cutters. Come on, you gotta end the show with that bad boy.
I was gonna say it's gonna be interesting to see which of these matches main events that show next week, because you got the Survivor Series match with the Dark Order and the Elite. I mean, there's a lot out there that could main event that show.
Oh yeah, we are going to get into that card for next week. When they were promoting that before the main event, I was like, I had to pause the TV to catch up. I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God, so much stuff is going on next week. We then get a vignette from Miro. Again, this knocked it out of the park. He's so damn good. It's just tremendous. He's talking about the past TNT champions, and he says that he's the greatest of them all. He's the Redeemer. He is God's favorite champion. And then he says at Homecoming in Jacksonville, which is in 2 weeks, he's going to put up the TNT title, and he wants to see who has the guts to step up to him. It was quick. It was short and sweet, but I thought it was, again, just Miro being a cool badass like he is. Ed, what did you think about this little vignette with Miro?
I mean, you can't go wrong with a good Miro promo. The guy can talk. The guy's intense. AEW is getting really good with the video packages like WWE is. I liked seeing all the different champions and their moments that they had in their matches. As they, either won the title or defended the titles. I'm excited to see who's going to challenge him in 2 weeks, because honestly, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but I'm excited to see who they decide is going to be worthy of that match. If it was up to me, I'd throw Jungle Boy in there.
That'd be awesome. I'd be okay with that. Jungle Boy would have to lose, which would be but I think Jungle Boy, I don't think he would get crushed for a loss. You know what I mean? I don't think that would do a lot of damage to him. What about Daniel Bryan? No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I was going to say.
What about Daniel Bryan?
Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, let's go.
John Cena.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, it'll be somebody with some semblance of a name. Maybe it'll be somebody we haven't seen in a while, like a Joey Janela type deal.
Yeah, maybe.
I think because they're dubbing it the Homecoming, and the big attraction is Cody and Malachi Black, right? So I don't know if they're going to go all out on a little Homecoming show at Daly's and do a Daniel Bryan or a CM Punk for that match. But in a lot of ways, I kind of felt bad that they put this Miro promo here. It was so good, but you were so jacked up. And we'll talk about that leading into the next match. Is you were so off the edge of your seat for Nick Gage showing up that it kind of you were still bracing yourself as Miro's cutting his promo, which he killed, but it took a little of the effectiveness. If I'm splitting hairs, it took a little bit out of me because you just debuted Nick effing Gage, right?
Yeah.
So
Incredible.
But I mean, incredible. So in 2 weeks, whoever Miro faces will probably take that L. But you know what? Just because it's predictable doesn't mean it won't be a good match. I think they'll come up with something in 2 weeks. They'll probably announce his opponent next week. I'm sure they'll be.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah.
I got an idea. It just came to me. You got Nick Gage next week. What's to say you don't keep him one more?
That's fair.
What about Nick Gage versus Miro?
I think Miro would kill him.
That might be the one man Miro can't kill.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Gage might not die, but Miro would try to murder him. He would try to kill him if he had to. You know?
I think that would be the end of Dynamite on TNT.
Yeah, they would. I think that would be the end of wrestling. Maybe that might be it. Match would never end.
Literally trying to kill each other. They're like, wait a minute, this isn't.
This is not what we signed up for.
This is cable television, guys. All right, we can't be showing this stuff on TNT.
Tell that to the main event tonight.
It'd be like that scene in Not Another Teen, or I'm sorry, in Scary Movie, the spoof, where she's like doing the dramatic scene on the stage, and she's like, "He's killing him! He's killing him!" And everybody's just like, "Yeah, no, very well done.
Yes, this is all okay."
And then they're like, hey, "This is real."
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man! But all right, we then get Luke Gallows against Frankie Kazarian. I thought this match was solid. I think like Pluggo, I thought you kind of foreshadowed it a little bit. Like the crowd.
Call me John if you want. It's
okay. I usually call you both, but it is what it is. Sorry, I like real names. No, I'm just kidding. I think this match was very solid, but I think the crowd was definitely on a come down from the Nick Gage. That was a big thing, that was a big, so they were definitely coming down, but I thought this match was solid. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular. I was kind of shocked that Gallows got the win. I mean, obviously the Elite is on a roll, so I get it to an extent, but I would have liked Kazarian to kind of maybe get the win here, get the one up on the Elite, because he is the Elite hunter. But yeah, Pluggo, I'll start with you. What did you think of the Gallows Kazarian match here? I
mean, it's a solid match. Like I said, once I finally kind of came down from the Nick Gage thing, and I was like, oh crap, and I'm checking like, how did this come to be? I'm like scouring Twitterverse trying to figure out because I didn't think that was happening at all, mind you, right? Like the CM Punk news overshadowed everything. So as I'm coming, it was a solid match. I noticed Kazarian switched to pants, which didn't work out in his favor. Maybe he should have stuck to trunks as the Elite hunter, but it got Gallows, Anderson, Kazarian. It's all good. Elite's on a roll. I think that they're keeping them strong because next week's going to be a big deal. So having any member of the team take an L, and I have this sneaking suspicion that Kazarian's going to get involved next week somehow in some way with the Elite hunter and help get Paige where we need Paige to get.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a pretty smart. Yeah. Ed, what did you think about this match here?
Great TV match. I mean, it was what it was. It wasn't anything too fantastic. It kept the crowd invested in the match. It kept the crowd invested in the show. It had a decent amount of time. It wasn't too short. It wasn't too long. The ending was the ending, but I think the ending did a very good job of tying into the rest of the promo.
Yeah,
I think the match was just part of the story, and it wasn't so much that Kazarian gets the win, Kazarian gets the loss, as it is just telling the further story of everything else going on with the Elite.
Yeah. So after the match, Anderson and Gallows beat up Kazarian a little bit, and we hear Kenny Omega's music, and Don Callis and Kenny Omega make their way down to the ring. Callis says that this is a lesson that everybody should be paying attention. This is a lesson to anyone that messes with the Elite. This is what happens to you. Eventually, it might not happen right away, but eventually this is what happens to you. Kenny Omega grabs the mic and he says, Kazarian's been torturing us for a little bit of time now, a few months now, but now he's going to get what he deserves. He's being held up by both Gallows and Anderson, and it looks like right as Omega is about to hit him with the belt or hit him with the V-trigger or something, we hear Hangman Page's music. Huge pop. Everyone loves Hangman. He comes down, and as he's coming down, Callis is warning him. Hey, he gets right in the ring, and Callis goes, hey, look, if there's one of you and there's four of us. So I would think about what you're doing here because, it doesn't look good for you. And Hangman goes, yeah, I'm good. and he hands Callis his drink, and he goes right at him. And Omega gets out of the ring, so he's just fighting off the Good Brothers. They eventually get in control of the numbers game, and then we see the Dark Order come out, and more than even the odds. They tip them in their favor, and they clear the ring, and Anderson gets the plethora of finishing moves, and that's how that segment ends, with the buckshot lariat as well. I thought this was great. I've loved this build with Hangman. I think they've done it almost perfectly. It's gone on a long time, but we've all been waiting for it. And now that they're kind of been going with it the last month or so, it's been excellent. Ed, I'll start with you. As someone who doesn't watch it regularly, what did you think of this segment tonight, and how are you feeling about the build for Hangman and Omega?
It's been fantastic. AEW has done a great job in their short history of telling long-term stories. They're planting seeds, they're telling stories, they're doing what they need to do to make sure that everybody's getting over. And they're taking Hangman's loss all the way back for the first AEW championship match. And they're taking the fall of Hangman with the Elite and the fall of Hangman to his, the drunk cowboy character. And they've told a fantastic story. My only hope is, and I might get people mad at me for saying this, I hope he doesn't win the first time. I'm
kind of there with you. Not 100%, but that's crossed my mind more than once. Like, oh, does he really? Maybe he comes up like just so short the first time that the next time, like the next rematch, the next time, it's that much sweeter. When he finally, it's like, yes, all right, he finally did it. You know what I mean? Like just
maybe
extending the chase just a bit. Yeah. Like it looks like Hangman's going to win and Omega cheats or something happens and you're like, you son of a bitch, and you're just like, ugh. And then he gets that rematch and then he finally wins and it's like, F yeah. Yeah. Like this is what I'm talking about. I think I'll have that reaction if he just wins outright the first time too.
Agreed.
But
it's one of those things where it's just like, is this story... Is it too predictable that he's the one who finally dethrones Kenny Omega and gets that big win? And I want him to be the one to dethrone Omega and get that big win. But I'm not quite sure I want him to do it at All Out.
Yeah. All right. Pluggo. What do you think about that? What did you think about this segment? What do you think about Hangman?
I think you guys are nuts.
Yeah, I figured. I figured you'd be on the other side of it. Well, again, and I said I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. I think
all the things you guys said are great, right? But you don't want to do the rematch right away, right? This has been he had his first title shot at the first pay-per-view, the beginning. He hasn't had one since, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Correct. And this Omega stuff has been told so well. So the reason that it's working is because it's been so long overdue. And if you're going to come up just that short, and then you just give him a rematch next week or something and he makes it happen. But either way, it's been a very well built. I enjoy the callbacks that they're making. I enjoy each week Kenny Omega and I don't know if everybody's noticing it, but he's getting a little bit more nuts and paranoid and frantic about it. Like basically Hangman Page is living rent-free in Omega's head, right? Which I would love to see them tie that in to all the other title matches that he has, and he'll slowly start to drop those other belts till all he has left is that AEW title. And here comes big bad Hangman Page, right? And it's just crazy, psychotic Kenny Omega to the point where he's not even trusting Callis anymore. He's not even, you know what I mean? Just keep that going, because that's really working for me. And the whole story, they're not touching each other until tonight. There was a little scuff up, but they're keeping them just enough apart and just enough together that when it comes to a head at All Out and that bell rings and they just go to blows, the roof's gonna blow off.
That place is gonna be shaking. That place is gonna be shaking.
This is what, and I know we try not to do this on these, but this is what we want in the WWE. We want two studs, just you have to hold them back. And this is what they're giving us in AEW, and they are paying off the loyal fans that have been watching for day one and know this Hangman story and know the Omega story as well. Because if everybody doesn't remember, Omega for the first year, everybody's like, why doesn't he have gold? Why doesn't he have the title? Why isn't he the world champ? I thought he was the best in the world. And then they didn't give it to him because they were building everybody else up. So he has just as much to lose in this whole thing as well. Because now it's like, oh, so your first real big, tough challenger, and you take an L? Yeah. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a good ride. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's going to be real. It's going to be really, really good. All right, we then get a backstage vignette of Taz and crew talking about how they beat Brian Cage last week and how Ricky Starks is the new FTW champion. Ricky Starks then says next week they are going to have the best celebration of all time to celebrate his victory for the FTW championship. So I'm sure that'll be quite the time. Ricky Starks is awesome. He's a stud. This was really short. I think I'm excited to see what they do with the celebration and how over the top, hopefully it is. And I expect Brian Cage to come out and just wreck the place. Because right after we see Brian Cage being interviewed about he had watched the video and he said, oh, they're not here tonight. They're not here, but next week they got a celebration. Huh. And he goes, well, I love celebrations. It should be a good celebration. And he leaves. And I just have a feeling that if there's a cake or there's something or whatever, someone, Ricky Starks maybe Hook, I don't know. Someone is going through something next week. Brian Cage is going to be destroying bitches next week, I believe.
If there's a cake next week, cakes are winless in wrestling events. I don't think there's ever been a cake in a wrestling show that's made it the whole way through.
Yeah.
But I'll let you start with that on this one, but I just had to throw that in there before I forgot it.
Yeah. Ed, what'd you think of this short segment with Team Taz here?
I mean, it's great. Team Taz is fantastic because it's a vehicle to get over Ricky Starks, which is basically all you need. They probably do make a cake big enough for Cage because he probably eats those little single cakes. Because that's not the type of man I think that's going to sit there and pound a whole bunch of cake.
No.
So he probably gets those little market. JP will know. Little market basket single cakes.
Yeah, single pies and cakes.
But no, Team Taz is great, especially as a vehicle to keep Ricky Starks on TV and to get Ricky Starks over. I'm excited for Powerhouse Hobbs as part of this too.
Yep.
But I mean, this is all designed for Taz to get Ricky Starks to that main event level. Mm-hmm. And with the young talent in AEW, that main event level in 3 or 4 years is going to be scary good.
Yeah, very, very good. They have a bunch of people that are under 30 and like a lot of people that are under even 25 that are like you said, 3 to 5 years from now, like they're gonna that company's gonna be in real good shape. Real good shape. We then get Wheeler Yuta. They've been showcasing him these last few weeks on Dynamite. He goes one-on-one with Darby Allin, so a big match for him. And he's also accompanied to the ring by Orange Cassidy as well. Ed, I will let you lead on this one. I thought this was a good match. It was a good competitive match. I thought Yuta, they showed his technical ability in the ring very well. A lot of the reversals into those crazy-looking pinfalls and roll-ups and stuff like that. Darby Allin just continues to be one of the most over guys in wrestling, period. He gave this kid a bunch of offense. He made this kid look really good. And Yuta is very good from what I've seen in the short span I've seen him. He's very good in the ring. Darby Allin, even though he ended up winning like we all expected him to, he made him look good. He put him over a little bit. That's a big time opportunity for Yuta. Big time to be in there with Darby Allin. What did you think about this match?
I loved it. I thought it was great. But we have to get back to the beginning of it, which is there was a double down, and we have Orange Cassidy on the outside and Sting on the outside. Yeah, and they do the Orange Cassidy spot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, we were going to talk about that.
I was going to say, seeing Sting do the Orange Cassidy spot made my night because that was fantastic. And then at the very end, you see Sting do like the little Orange Cassidy version of the Stinger, like
he does the
war call. He's like,
he does like a I don't care war call. I wanted him to do that and then just go like woo, like just like say something like oh, like just do like a noise instead of the big butt. No, he just did the half-assed. Oh, okay, that was wonderful. It's good to see a veteran like that just get it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just like because you hear a lot of the older wrestlers, not a ton, but you hear a lot of them like, you Orange Cassidy, that stuff's ruining the business, and blah, 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 blah. And to see like a Hall of, like, no doubt one of the best to literally ever do it, get it, and just be like, yeah, I'll do that shit with you. It's hilarious. I'll go out there and do that with you. It's awesome. It's just awesome. Pluggo, what'd you think of the Sting stuff with OC and just this match in general?
Oh, the Sting stuff with OC is classic, right? And that's just Sting right there, dude. Knowing like I'm Sting.
Yeah. Ooh, is this gonna hurt my legacy doing this? Okay. I'm freaking Sting. I'm Sting.
Thank though. He got paid for that spot.
Oh,
but no, this match was. This is one of the things I like when we were talking Ricky Starks, and then the whole like AEW could easily have fallen into the like, let's just hammer with Omega, Bucks, Jericho. Let's just hammer it home with them. But no, they're pushing Starks. They're showing off Darby. They're putting all their eggs in this Wheeler Yuta basket, which I think is a great move. Like, I watch him, and I admittedly don't know a ton about him. I know he's the IWTV champion. He took it off of Lee Moriarty. But outside of that, I haven't really got a chance to see him. So the last couple weeks getting out, he is smooth in that ring. Like, it looks fluent, and it just looks like this dude has been doing this forever, and he looks like he fits in perfectly into this little like the young core and the nucleus, and he fits in with the best friend. So I'd like to see more of him. Darby getting the win,
expected.
I never expected, but these are the type of matches that normally they would put on Dark or Elevation. Yeah. So they're telling us that if we can get Wheeler Yuta signed, this is our next guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're constantly doing that. They're always looking for that next guy. Even though we already talked about like the young four, the core they have, the 4 or 5, they're looking to add to that and continue to build this thing. That's why matches like this is why it's going to continue to be a success, in my opinion. And AEW is here to stay. It's not a flash in the pan and they'll be done in a year, because they're building a good nucleus and adding to it every day. So that's all I took from this match. That dude is smooth. Like I wish I was that smooth, man. Woo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are at this, obviously. Duh.
I mean,
but yeah, man, I would say, I'll say it. I think AEW is easily the best booked product that we see, at least from a WWE, AEW, NXT standpoint. Like, they consistently tell good stories. Everything kind of matters. They show new guys to you, like in front of your face, and girls, and make them matter if they're going to matter, even in losses. Even it's just like Pluggo just said. It just keeps going. They just keep on introducing new people, and it's smooth. It doesn't feel forced. It's just part of the build.
And it's not a squash match, which is
no. And I just think they do that so well, Yeah.
I agree, but at the same time, there's one thing that I would say about that, and it's, while yes, I think it's one of the best booked, there's always this, it feels like there's always somebody being left behind, and it feels like stories, like remember when NXT was taped and you felt like there were stories that took like 5 weeks to develop because they would tape and then they would do something and then they would tape. There's a lot of guys who feel like they fall off to the wayside after they do like a 3-week story. Then they're gone for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, and then they're back again. It's like, for me, it was, Death Triangle was back tonight. Great, cool, great to see Death Triangle again. But where have they been since they were doing the Kingston and Penta stuff? It's like they fall off the wayside. Why are they not in the tag division? Why are they not back to trying to get those tag titles? Why are we, it's just like every now and then it just seems like people fall off the radar. Like Hikaru Shida. Where's Hikaru Shida been? It's just every now and then it just seems like AEW kind of goes into this rhythm where they start almost forgetting people exist and then bring them back into these really great stories and get them back going. But it seems like they're rotating people in and out.
Well, they do have a huge, to your point, Ed, and I think that they do it by design to a point, right? Because what do we complain about on the other show? Oh, this is the 20th time they faced off in some capacity over the last 2 months. Mm-hmm. So I think that they're keeping the program short, sweet, to the point, and then getting some new faces there. So when Hikaru Shida comes back,
we're excited that she's back.
We're excited that she's back. We're not like, oh, she took an L and now she's immediately back in the title picture. Oh, she's back, and she's going to kick ass and take names. And I think they do, to Parrish's point, they do have a convoluted roster right now. I think they have a lot of things that they need to sort out on that end, but it also does help give guys and girls breaks as well. I think that that's good. Turn down, and then when they get on the road here, I think you're gonna see a lot more use out of some of that talent on some dark matches and elevation.
Yeah, and they have a new show coming out, at the end of August too.
So I'd like to see how they sort it out. I do think they do that by design to try to keep it fresh, because like I said, we can only see the Street Profits and War Raiders how many times before we're like, all right, this is, or Miz and Morrison versus Damian Priest for 6 months. You're just like, but if
I agree. Like I said, it was more devil's advocate than anything else.
No, that's fair. And that's an absolute, that's what the beautiful part about wrestling is playing the devil's advocate and having difference in opinions and views. And that's what I love. So I'm definitely not saying you're wrong. I do think I would love to see Eddie Kingston on my TV screen every single week. That's just me. I do know that he didn't even come out with Mox tonight, which is kind of interesting, but hey, whatever.
Yeah. We then see a promo from Archer and Moxley hyping up the main event, the Texas Death Match that we would see as the main event of the evening for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. They show, I'm not familiar with this gentleman, but I believe it was Hikuleo is his name, Hikuleo?
Yes.
I know he is the son of Haku and the brother of Tamatonga and Tangaloa. So definitely in a very famous and very good wrestling family, comes from a good family. I don't know much about him. This was the first time that I have personally ever seen him. I don't watch a ton of New Japan. I don't know if he's featured a lot in New Japan. I don't know if Ed, he's more about that than I.
The Bullet Club.
The Bullet Club with them.
The B Club. It's the B Club. It's the Chase Owens. It's the Takahashi. It's that B-level Bullet Club stuff.
Yeah. All right.
I'm assuming he's working in
Strong, right? Probably.
In Strong, I would imagine is probably what's going on.
Yeah, Pluggo, you know much about him at all?
I don't. Just like you said,
just
Jason,
like me. Yeah.
I don't. It's not because I don't think New Japan puts on a good product. The stuff I watch is good. It's just one of those things where you gotta, prioritize what you're watching, and New Japan falls by the wayside. But he looked really good, and we'll talk about that later. I mean, when he had that little bit of a stare down at the end there, that was
he's a big old boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like he made a certain someone look small. I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, we gonna talk about that.
Oh, we gonna get into that.
Yeah. We then get Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker, DMD, for the AEW Women's Championship match. I thought this match was a little sloppy at times, with some roll-ups and pins and stuff. It didn't look like they were on the same page for a few times throughout the match. But all in all, it was entertaining. It was a credible victory against a credible opponent, a former AEW Women's Champion, a dominating former AEW's Women's Champion for Britt Baker. So I thought for a first title defense, Nyla Rose was the only woman who has beaten her this year in the tournament earlier this year. She was at one point the longest reigning AEW Women's Champion of all time. Yeah, I mean, it's a credible victory. It's a good victory for Britt Baker. The match I thought was okay, but I thought there were parts of the match that were very good. But I thought as a whole, it was a solid match, I would say. But I was all for it. I'm excited to see what Britt Baker does next. I wanted them to get through this. And now I want to see who's next. Do you go Thunder Rosa? I want to see what's next for Britt
Goldberg
Baker.
pops out, goes, I'm next.
Yeah, exactly. Pluggo, I'll start with you. What did you think about this match? And what are you thinking about what Britt Baker possibly, or what you want to see come next for Britt Baker?
Well, like you said, it was a little bit sloppy. Britt Baker and Nyla Rose have this. It just doesn't click for me in the ring. This match for me, what I took away from it wasn't a terrible match by any stretch. It just wasn't the best Britt Baker Nyla Rose match of the bunch, and it wasn't either one of their best showing. But Britt Baker needs a second finisher. because you saw how hard it was. Even when she got it in, that lockjaw did not look good.
No, it didn't. It looked like it was barely in there.
Yeah, it's like it's on the tip of the teeth, and it just looked like Nyla could have chomped down. Because if you can't get your arm around Nyla because she's such a big, broad-shouldered lady, you got to come up with a second finisher. I don't think Britt has one. So this would be the eye opener for me. I'd say I'd start working on something that you have secondary that put somebody away. I'm excited to see what they do with Britt. I think, like you said, first title defense, get her in front of some fans. She's incredibly over. Reba or Rebel, is it?
Oh,
Reba?
she's fantastic.
No,
Even injured, she's still fantastic.
She came out, the whole place popped for her.
Yeah.
I think there are slowly but surely this was the spark of the face turn for Britt, which I don't know if it's a good move. We haven't seen face Britt since she debuted, and when she turned heel, it just immediately clicked and set the world on fire. Yeah. So I'm hoping that they don't do it, but hey, the way she's over, you might as well try it out, and she can always click back into the snap. So if you're going to go heel turn or face turn with Britt, I'm thinking maybe you do something where you just kind of put her up against like the bunny, right? Somebody that's in the heel realm right now, just kind of drive it home. And then eventually I think we get back to my girl Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, too. And Thunder Rosa can come in as that heel that's pissed off that she beat you, but you're getting all the praise and all the pub and blah, blah, blah. They could tell that story again. And I think that that's where they go with it for now. Unless they sign AJ Lee, then I'd be cool with that.
Oh, yeah. Hey-oh. That'd be nice. Get the power couple in there.
Let's go, man.
Very good.
If you get Punk, you got to get Lee, right?
You have to try at least. You got to try. You are not doing your due diligence if you don't try at least.
You fax over 2 contracts. I ain't
Yeah, you go, hey, we'll just leave the second one there. Yeah, she has all the time in the world. Think about it. Just think about it.
She's out jogging. Just leave it on the counter. Yeah. She'll look it over.
Yeah. Ed, what did you think of the AEW Women's Championship match tonight?
It was a good one. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy watching Nyla Rose wrestle. I think I'm one of the. I enjoy watching Nyla Rose wrestle more than I enjoy watching Britt Baker wrestle. I really enjoy the style that Nyla has, that powerhouse, because it's something different. It's something you don't typically see from a women's division.
Yep.
That huge powerhouse style, and I think she does a really good job with it. Mm-hmm. The one thing I would say is that, like Pluggo said, that lockjaw, the first lockjaw, looked way better than that second lockjaw that ended the match.
Yeah,
that
100%.
First attempt lockjaw looked like it was going to be good and ready to go, and that second one looked rushed, and maybe the match was running out of time. I don't know, but I'm excited to see what happens because come August 11th, they need to have something big planned for August 11th with her when she goes back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Because when she goes back home, there needs to be a big moment there. And that's where I think, like Pluggo says, I think that's where you bring out Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, I'm going to put up a comment by Parrish because I agree. I want to see Britt Baker versus Tay Conti. That's a nice little match that I would like to see down the line. 100% agree with you.
Anna Jay when she's healthy again.
Anna Jay when she's back. I want to see Britt Baker make if you want to start with the bunny, kind of get someone she's going to handle relatively easy, cool. I want to see her fight everybody. Layla Hirsch, Bunny. I want, we all want Thunder Rosa again. I want Chris Statland. All of them. Abaddon. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Just line them up and let her you want to give her the run that you gave Sheeta.
Yes.
And it's no fault of Sheeta, right? Sheeta did the best she could given the circumstances she had, but she ran through the roster and did it so well that they ran out of options. I want to see them do that with Britt Baker, only do it twice, if that makes any sense, right? Because because I think you can tell multiple stories with Britt Baker a little bit more than you could during Sheeta's run. And hell, I think you bring in Sheeta in this mix and have that match again. Why not? Like, Britt Baker needs to show that she's the reason they signed her, because everybody was like, she's the first overall signing. This is her chance to just run through the next, part of the 2021 and head into 2022, have her keep that title till Double or Nothing. And, then have a big, by then you can set up something maybe huge, right? Maybe you have, some new faces in there, some things like that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, then we get a press conference. We have ourselves a press conference. Shivani running the show. He announces next week I know this is a match that Matt and myself have been pining for a little bit now. They announced next week we are getting a tag match. We are getting Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. Your boy is excited for that one. That's going to be a doozy, and I am ready for that. This press conference was short and sweet, but that's what AEW does. They nail it, I think, and I thought this was really good too. Dax says that he respects Santana and Ortiz as wrestlers, but he doesn't have 1 ounce of respect for them as men. Ortiz says, I like Ortiz's dig here. He goes, when you were playing patty cake elsewhere, we were here in AEW since day one. Santana then stands up, very passionate, starts showing pictures of his mother and the sacrifice, and starts talking about the sacrifices she made throughout his life to provide for him and his family. I thought that was a nice touch. I think Santana is an underrated promo. I think every time he's been given the microphone to talk in these inner circle segments, or tonight when it was just Santana Ortiz, he's great. He's great, and he's really good in the ring. They're a tag team. I want them to stay a tag team as long as they can be, but I think Santana could be a singles star in the future as well. I'm very high on him. I like him a lot. And then Dax closes it out and he says, you know what, Tony? I only care about 3 things: God, my family, and professional wrestling. Tremendous. Yeah, America.
That's all you need to say at the end there. America.
Yeah, America. And then he says, as far as he's concerned, there's only one thing left to do, and that's beat their asses. And they get separated, and we see no contact or anything like that, but they get separated, yelling at each other. I thought this was great. I'm super duper pumped. I know I've said super duper like 5 times tonight, but that's just how I feel right now, guys. I'm happy.
It's neat.
Things are good, guys.
We're all hopped up on CM Punk and Danny Bryan rumors,
Things
baby.
are good.
Let's go.
Things are good.
The one thing I want to say about this segment, and it's a small thing, but I felt like I noticed it. I feel like AEW did Santana a little dirty with the edit.
Okay.
In between his story that he was telling about his mom and everything he was going through, it was really emotional, and I was hitting with it, and then all of a sudden it's a really awkward, hard cut edit to Dax. I think it's Dax.
Dax. Yeah.
Yeah, doing the I believe in
God.
3 things here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was such a hard edit from his.
It was like abrupt.
Point. Yeah, it was just. I just felt like he did him a little dirty on that, but I'm excited for this match. As I call them, XLAX are absolutely fantastic, and having Conan just makes it feel more like LAX. Yeah. I wish they would just talk to Impact and get the name. Yeah, because I feel like Proud and Powerful or Santana Ortiz, they just need that LAX moniker. They need that little bit extra.
Well, we just saw a new LAX come back in MLW, though.
Oh, okay.
So I believe that is what...
They might not have it anymore then.
Yeah, no, wait. Was it Ring of Honor, maybe? I don't know. It might not have been MLW. But, yeah, it was a new LAX, and they had the name as well.
Interesting.
That happened last week. I'm drawing a blank. It was either in Ring of Honor or MLW. I apologize for not doing my damn research.
How would you know I was going to bring
over here?
The naming rights to LAX tonight.
I wanted to leave the Parrish comment up there because I wanted your guys' opinion on it. He says that FTR, in his opinion, are being booked similar to how they were in WWE. I know, Ed, you said you're not a regular watcher of AEW, but you tune in from time to time. Pluggo, I know you, like myself, are a regular watcher. Do you agree with that comment? How do you feel? I think the characters are kind of the same.
Yeah,
they're just being allowed to talk a lot more because WWE refused to let them do anything, really.
Yeah, at first I'd say no. I think they came out, they were booked really strong with the Bucks and that program, and then lately they've just kind of been lackeys and flunkies, how they did with Orton. So yeah, I could see that, but they're so good as a tag team. I did find the only 3 things I care about line tonight a little hokey, so I wasn't super into that. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'd like to see. I like how I will say this. This is what I took from it. I love how they're distancing themselves from the Pinnacle, but they're part of the Pinnacle. And LAX or Santana Ortiz are distancing themselves from the Inner Circle. But we know they're in the Inner Circle, but they're doing their own thing, and it's standing on its own. And I'm really digging that vibe. And I think I've wanted Santana and Ortiz to win the titles forever now. I think that they are incredibly fun tag team. I think
I 100% agree.
They've had some really good stuff, really good matches in AEW, and I think it's time. But I think, and in a weird way, this is kind of, I don't know what the official rankings are. I haven't looked. I didn't do my research either, but that's par for Pluggo. I don't do research. I don't do research, but I think that this would essentially be like the de facto number one contender.
I would say so. I think it should be at least
for the Bucks. I know the Bucks have. I think they.
Well, we're gonna talk about
Dark Order, but I can't see Dark Order getting it done against the Bucks. I don't know if that's the pop you're looking for, but a knockout, drag out FTR Bucks 2 would be fun, or Triad Powerful versus Bucks is always a good time. I just really dig this. I think, like you said, Santana Ortiz are really standing out. I think we talked in a couple war reports ago how Guevara's elevated himself past the Inner Circle. I think that Santana Ortiz are right there too, right there.
Well, yeah. And
it's time.
I want to take that, and I want to, before we continue to move on, because there's still some show we got to talk about.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you've wanted them to be tag champs now, and I heard Ed say he agreed, and I agree too. And Parrish and Astrid in the chat also agree with that. And then you just said, Pluggo, you just said that they've kind of elevated themselves above the Inner Circle a little bit, like Sammy has. And Parrish wrote this comment. He says, why hasn't a title come to the Inner Circle, like to anybody not named Jericho? And he says, it makes me wonder if this group is beneficial moving forward. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought they were going to lose the match to the Pinnacle and they were going to have to break up. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, that's what should have happened.
I thought I like them. I'm not upset that they're still together. I like everybody in the group. Hager, but I like everyone else in the group. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll watch Hager. It's fine, but I care about the other guys a lot more, right? I thought that was it. I'm like, okay, that's run its course. Fine. The Pinnacle's the next group. They get the big win. Inner Circle kind of goes and does their own things because they are more than talented and able to do that. And the Pinnacle is the big major force group of AEW now. But that didn't happen, and now they're just kind of hanging around. But I do think the Inner Circle should kind of disband or go their separate ways, maybe remain friends on screen, but go separate routes, I think that should happen. New Day style, yeah. I think that should happen relatively soon. I think it probably already should. I'm hoping once we get through I'm hoping once we get through this hopeful final Pinnacle stuff, which I think they're in the process of, maybe we do see that. And Parrish says AEW needs more tag teams, like true tag team emphasis. They got a ton of tag teams, though. Yeah. They have a ton of tag teams. They show them on Dark. They have the Varsity Blondes. You have Phoenix and Penta. You have the Young Bucks. You got the Good Brothers. You got Private Party. You got the Acclaimed. They have a loaded stack.
Butcher and the Blade.
The Dark Order. Twice, yes, because you got Silver and Reynolds, and then you have
3 if you want 5 and 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that the vehicle was there. I think the title on Jericho was the vehicle to elevate these guys. I think Hager was kind of a throw, and I think they thought, and I think they have in a way reinvented Hager into kind of forgetting about the Jack Swagger stuff. But it was a vehicle really to get Sammy over, and then it was the vehicle, the Pride and Powerful, to get them over and get them elevated. And you're starting to see they are definitely setting the seeds to not break up and have this massive drag-out brawl. But Sammy is clearly over right now. Yeah. He's clearly he's popping on Jericho levels, right? So he's probably going to end up separating himself. Maybe he's the guy that comes out and challenges Miro, right? I don't know. That could be fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, and it could be, and that's the thing with AEW. Even in a loss, people look really strong. So Sammy could come out and have just this crazy banger of a match with Miro. Miro low blows him or something, gets the win. Sammy comes out looking more sympathetic, more babyface, bigger pops, and keep it going. So I don't think the Inner Circle. I think the Inner Circle is going to be together forever, but I don't think they're going to be together forever.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We then get Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he welcomes Andrade El Idolo. He comes out and he says he has a special surprise for everyone. And then Tony Schiavone, in disbelief, announces Chavo Guerrero as the, what do they call it? The new executive consultant to Andrade. Chavo gets a hero's welcome. Well-deserved. Hero's welcome. Everyone's losing their mind. It's good to see Chavo. He looks excited. He looks happy to be there. He gets in the ring. You can tell he's emotional. He says, "You guys remembered," and everyone cheered for him. And it was a good moment to see Chavo in there. And then he says, there's a lot of talented boys and girls in the back. It's a very talented roster. AEW is the place to be, but no offense. But nobody backstage has as much talent as Andrade. And then we hear the music, and we see the return of the Death Triangle. Really nice pop for them as well. All three of them. We get Pac, Penta, and it was good to see Rey Fenix back. I know he was on the shelf.
Amen.
And all three of them came out, and I was like, I'll take Rey Fenix and Andrade right now. 100%. Go ahead. Yep, I'll do it. I'll sit here.
Doing that.
I will not be upset. I will sit here and enjoy that thoroughly, please. I would also enjoy all three of them, like you said, but for some reason, when I saw Phoenix, I was like, yep, right now, please. Yeah, please.
My mind went to Penta.
Yeah. I mean, all like Pluggo said, all of them. Just three straight weeks, just one-on-one. So Andrade asks Penta and Phoenix why they're working for Pac and not for him. Pac then says that, Death Triangle is not scared of anybody. And he says, they don't work for me. We're brother, we're family, we're brothers, we're friends. And then Phoenix says that him and Penta are the true kings of the Latinos. And then Penta says that Andrade is not on their level. And then they have a little face-off in the ring, and the referees come out and break them up as Andrade leaves the ring. I loved it. I liked it a lot. Andrade has looked like $1 million, as he usually does. And I thought, he did half the promo in Spanish and half the promo in English, but I thought when he was speaking English, he was really good. I thought he was really good. His English, I understood him. Like, I know that was a thing that was like a detractor of his in WWE apparently, but I thought he was very good, and I'm excited. Death Triangle's back, and I want to see all these matches, as I believe probably all three of us do. And I'll let you start. What did you think of this segment here?
I love this segment, and I don't want to come off weird with this one, but this segment could have used an SAP button. Like, there was so much of this promo in Spanish that they translated 99% of it back into English, but there was so much of this promo in Spanish that it just kind of took me out of it a little bit out of it, because of the fact that Andrade had a big long promo, and then Chavo took the mic, and Chavo, went ahead and goes, I know we all know what was just said, but, for them, I'm going to go ahead and, for Pac, I'm going to explain it. And I'm like, well, good, explain it for Pac, but can you explain it for the rest of us that don't speak Spanish too? Because we want to know what the hell's going on too.
That's I mean, it's fair. If you I don't understand a ton of Spanish. So when they start talking in Spanish, most of the time I would say, I don't understand what they're saying. I'm just like, all right, yeah, cool. But it's kind of like, I view it the same way that I view Asuka. When Asuka starts screaming in Japanese, I'm like, I have no idea what she's saying, but it's probably cool, and she looks awesome doing it. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, all right. It's probably awesome. You know what I mean?
I agree, and I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it's like, when Asuka does it, it's maybe 10, 15 seconds, maybe a minute of.
Yeah, it did feel like it went a long time.
This is a 5 to 10 minute promo where three guys talked in pretty much all Spanish, and all had to have translators at one point or another explain what was going on. We had to have Alex Abrahantes, explain Penta's last little dig at Andrade, which made it come off a little bit worse. It's just, like I said, it was just, I enjoyed the promo, but it fell a little bit off for me because there was so much Spanish in it that it just. But I mean, these guys, they can speak in all Spanish, and I'm like, great, just give me the matches. I don't care about promos. Just tell me the matches going on, and I'll do it.
Exactly. Pluggo, what did you think of this whole thing here with Andrade and the Death Triangle?
Oh, that was awesome to see Chavo coming back, Pac
Awesome.
coming back, Phoenix. By the way, we forgot to mention, since we're talking Guerreros, the Nyla Rose Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero callback where she did the title thing, and then we forgot about that. I had to get that in. Excuse me, but no, Chavo coming back. That's cool. Got a great pop from the crowd. I will say it was a little long. I thought they could have tightened it up a little bit, hit those points a little harder, but I think the crowd, and I really wanted to see Andrade. He kept talking over the crowd chants. Let that crowd chant kind of marinate a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we can understand what you're talking about a little further, because he was kind of trying to talk over the crowd chants. Yeah. But, in true heel form, he should have just been like, bring it on. But no, it's cool. Chavo's back. Andrade looks like $1 million. When he said he hired somebody, I thought he hired CM Punk. But again, that's just where I head's at. But no, like you said, when Phoenix was getting all, man, I love Ray Phoenix. I think Ray Phoenix is amazing. So I would have loved to just see him go down there, say, let's do this right now. And boom, they just had a quick match. But hey, it was a good spot for what it was.
Yeah, it was. I thought so too.
It did what it needed to do, and it sounded like, even though, like Ed said, some of the stuff, is Spanish, and I didn't understand some of it, but like the crowd seemed to get it. I think maybe they were playing to that crowd, that demographic.
Yeah, I mean,
they were popping.
Texas,
yeah. So they're popping for it. So that's all that really matters, right? We're just,
and like I said, mine wasn't like, I didn't want to detract from it saying it was an awful promo because it was in. I just felt like it You've got four guys. You got three guys who speak primarily Spanish, so you're going to have a Spanish promo, which is fine. But it runs the risk of being hard to understand.
Yeah, well, you gotta know going into it that there's going to be a section of your audience that isn't going to know what they're saying. You know what I mean? So most of us, like you said, can still enjoy it and look past it, even though we don't really know what they're saying to each other. You kind of go by the crowd reaction sometimes, which, like Pluggo said, tonight it seemed like a lot of the crowd knew what they were saying and was reacting accordingly. So, but I do think, whether it is subtitles, it would be hard to do on a live show, I would assume. But if there is a way, maybe they show it later on, like another clip with the subtitles added in or something like that, just for the community of wrestling fans that love the show and love these guys, but couldn't keep up with what was going on because they didn't understand. You know what I mean? But yeah, all in all, like we're all in agreement. Just give me those matches. Just give me those matches. We then get some highlights from the Hardy family office attacking Marco Stunt earlier in the show. I believe it might have been on Dark. And then Jungle Express and Christian Cage running down to help. So we see some clips of that. And then we see Christian and Jurassic Express backstage. And Christian says, yeah, you were beating up on little Marco earlier, but how about next week you fight somebody your own size and we have a little 6-man tag, 3 of you guys versus us 3. And then later on, we find out that will be a match. And that's going to happen next week. We then get the Factory as well, back-to-back, backstage. And QT Marshall says next week everybody wants him to apologize. And he goes, all right, yeah, next week, Shivani, you and I in the ring, everyone will see an apology. I don't really know what that might be leading to or not. Maybe more shenanigans, I'm assuming. But what did you guys think of these segments back to back? I'll start with you, Pluggo.
Oh, when you just said, what could that lead to? CM Punk coming out and saving Shivani, dude. That's what they did tonight. They talked CM Punk up all day, and I'm just like, oh, hey, Tony,
we got promoter of the year Tony Khan in the chat. Greetings, gentlemen. I was playing chess all along when everybody was playing checkers. CM Punk to AEW. Checkmate. Hey-o. Boom.
Thanks for stopping by, TK, man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate that, dude.
We are the premier. We are the premier AEW review of the War Report. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Tony Khan. But to the point, hey, Tony, I didn't back-to-back segments, probably not needed. I don't think we needed the QT Marshall thing, but I think it's a vehicle to lead to a bigger deal. Maybe not CM Punk, right? But I think you'll see the Factory's next feud here. That's what this is for. So that's fine. It did what it needed to do. Shivani ain't apologizing to nobody because Shivani is a G. He doesn't play. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and we have Parrish saying, I really don't like how Christian is being used in AEW. I feel like him versus MJF is a money feud. I think that would be a money feud. However, I think a money feud is also when Christian turns on Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
And goes heel, and we get a long-term Jungle Boy versus Christian feud. I think that's a money feud as well. I think MJF versus almost anybody is a money feud because MJF is money. Is money. But I think this is leading to Christian eventually turning on Jungle Boy, saying, hey, I'm the veteran here. I'm cementing my legacy. You're this young gun. You're not taking, like, I got unfinished business. You're not taking my spot. You're going to have your time. This is my time type. You know.
I love when you get all Boston, JP.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It happens from time to time. I throw in a swagger.
Because you get all fired up. Dude.
I get fired up. Yeah, I love it. You know? Sometimes you gotta let it loose. You gotta let it loose.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's the long-term storyline they're going with here. Christian's kind of being the mentor for Jungle Boy, and then eventually he's gonna get pissed off, and he's gonna, and the student's gonna have to beat the master per se a little bit. And I'm on board with that 100%. And then we have Parrish saying AEW stands for All Elite War Report.
That's right.
And yeah, if Christian is a heel, give him 100%. I'd be on board with that too. Darby, yep. I'm on Christian fighting everybody. I'm all cool with it.
Yeah.
We then get the Blade versus Orange Cassidy earlier in the night at the end of the match with Wheeler Yuta. I believe we glossed over this. I didn't mention it. At the end of the match, Blade hit Orange Cassidy on the outside with the brass knuckles and knocked him unconscious. So Orange Cassidy was fighting in this match hurt from that earlier. As Blade is waiting in the ring, Orange Cassidy's music hits and he doesn't come down. So Blade is demanding that the referee raise his hand for a forfeit victory. Then we see kind of Orange Cassidy come out of the crowd and kind of sneak in. And then we had ourselves a sprint here, a very fast-paced, normal, no BS from Orange Cassidy in this match. This was just straight up wrestling, going from bell to bell, Orange Cassidy. And he proved once again that when it comes that time, he can go. I thought this was a solid, quick, fun little match. I like the ending. Obviously, Orange Cassidy gets the victory, and then he gives the Blade his little comeuppance with the orange punch with the knucks on at the end to kind of get his revenge a little bit. Pluggo, I'll start with you. What did you think of this match here with Orange Cassidy and Blade?
Oh, like you said, good stuff. Orange Cassidy, when he's on, it works, right? The comedic side of things, I know some people don't really enjoy it. They think it's kind of hokey, like you said, ruins the business. But the dude can go, and it all plays into his strengths. Like when he's having fun, he's having fun. When he's out there with Sting, he's goofing off. But when you hit him in the face with brass knucks, he's all business. And I think that they did rush this a little bit. I think it had to be a sprint because I think that the Andrade segment maybe did go a little longer than anticipated. So I think they trimmed a little of the fat off of this match. But that's fine. I think it actually played to their strength because I don't think we need a 20-minute Butcher versus Orange Cassidy match. I think they did what they needed to do. Got to the next. They kept the storyline going if they want it to be there. But if they ended it here, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. Ed, what did you think of this match with Orange Cassidy?
This is the one segment that I had that I felt like was a little bit of a downer on for me. I've been watching now again. Like I said, I don't watch every week, but for 3 weeks now, I've been making sure I pay attention and get my AEW in. And it feels like I've seen this match or this match with Chris Statlander and Bunny and him for the last 3 weeks now, and it feels like it's the same match. And like you guys say, AEW is really good about not giving us that WWE style, oh my God, we're getting the same match 3-4 weeks in a row. And it felt like, with the whole spot of, them having Orange Cassidy nail both Chris Statlander and Blade on the outside, and then, throwing Blade into Bunny and things like that. It just felt like it was a little convoluted, a little just a whole bunch of stuff thrown at the wall. Just get it done, get it over with. And I feel like if this is the end, fine, I'm cool with that. But if this leads to another match, it's like There has to be something special. If that next match is a ladder match for the Brass Knucks or the Brass Knucks on a pole, all right, cool. I'll give it.
I'd be all about a Brass Knucks on a pole match.
I mean, it's what it seems like we're heading with Cassidy taking the Brass Knucks at the end of the match.
I think honestly, like they do this a lot with the Best Friends crew, right? They extended the Best Friends Miro Kasabian thing a match too long. If I'm being honest, the last few weeks, I think this is literally just AEW's like, let's throw Orange Cassidy, get the crowd pop.
Yeah,
we don't want to put him into anything major because he has to take the L and he's so over. But for some reason, not for some reason, there's obvious reasons why the Best Friends are over. But this is like the group that they're like, all right, we'll go ahead and just keep throwing different combinations out there and hope it sticks because everybody loves those four, right?
Oh, yeah.
Trent and Chuck are on, and Statlander and Orange Cassidy, and hey, Wheeler Yuta joins they've got another excuse to keep throwing them out there. So the Orange Cassidy's literally just money. They just print money with him, and that's what they're doing. They're just putting him out there, I think. But it's not. It's fine. That's fine. That's good for me. Yeah. The moment of the night, he kicked the shit out of Sting.
That is true. That is true. That was a hell of a moment.
Still iced up right now. So I'm dropping scoops tonight on the War Report. He's backstage iced up.
Hey, but Sting got just as many good shots in on
that is true.
On OC,
that is true. That is true.
Sting got those, and even Sting even had that.
But Orange Cassidy came back out and fought a match.
That is true.
Sting did not.
Also, these are facts.
Which is a good thing, honestly, because I'm all set seeing Sting wrestle right now. I know, hot take. I'm not in for this Sting wrestling thing right now.
He's I thought the tag match that he had at the pay-per-view was good. I thought he looked good. But it's something that, every so often maybe, but I just think him being there is enough.
Oh, absolutely.
If they do it right.
And being there is money.
Yeah. Like Parrish says, he says, book a women's battle royal for a title match on Dynamite and have Statlander win and face Britt to make her shine in a losing effort. I am all for any way you want to book it to get Chris Statlander in the title picture and fighting for that title. I would have Britt hold that thing for a while.
She was on her way before she got hurt.
100%. Yeah. Statlander was 100% on her way before she tore the knee there.
And she's back and she looks better than ever. She looks like she's even added a little bit to the ring, like it's even more polished up.
Yeah.
So, that would be a money feud. I think you could tell a big story with that and still keep the tweener Britt thing going.
Mm-hmm.
With Statlander in that situation's face, because she's over right now as a Best Friends thing, because you're not turning the Best Friends.
Yep.
So.
All right. Yeah. We then get Chris Jericho with his back turned to the camera talking, and he says, hey, next week, if they're bringing in one of the most sadistic men in professional wrestling and Nick Gage to have a no rules match with me, then I'm going to bring out the most sadistic side of Chris Jericho. And he turns around and he has the face paint on. He puts on the hat and he says, next week we are going to see the Painmaker from the New Japan era Chris Jericho against Nick effing Gage in the I believe Jericho called it a no rules match, but MJF called it a no holds barred, no DQ match.
It's
either way.
It's no rules on the advertisement too.
All right. So no rules match. It will be Nick Gage going against the Painmaker, Chris Jericho. What do you think about Jericho bringing back the Painmaker for one night only to most likely have a brutal match with Nick Gage?
I'm fine with it. I mean, Chris Jericho is one of my all-time favorites as well. He's on my Mount Rushmore. Anything he does, I'm cool with it. I think, you want to bring out Nick Gage and you don't want to do the inner circle thing for this, that's fine. My only question is, and I posed this on Twitter, is everybody thinks Nick Gage is going to murder Matt Cardona. What if Matt Cardona murders Nick Gage?
Then he's going to have to fill in.
Do we have a backup plan? Is CM Punk the backup plan? I'm sorry, I got to stop.
Everything's coming up CM Punk, isn't it?
But you knew what you were getting in when you asked Pluggo to be on the show. That's all I'm going to say. But no, the Painmaker gimmick, in all honesty, for me is not the one I'm most.
It's kind of for me too. The matches he had over there with Omega and Tanahashi were
I don't
great, though.
don't care if it's Painmaker Jericho, Y2J Jericho, Lionheart Jericho. He's going to be Chris Jericho either way, and he's going to come out, and they're going to try to kill each other because that's what Nick Gage does. I don't know a ton about him, but I know he's this the vehicle. So why not bring out your sadistic side? Let's see it. Let's go. That's all I can say. Let's go. I'm excited. Next week, let's go.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to die on AEW.
Yeah. And we'll dive into it. Oh, go ahead.
I have one thing to say about this. I'm all for Nick Gage being here and in this spot. But there's two questions I have about this. One, how do you book Nick Gage losing to Jericho in a way that makes sense in a no-rules match? Because if Nick Gage is the MDK that we all know he is from the independents, there should be no way he loses this match clean. Yeah. So something's got to happen.
Well, and one of the things that I don't think I mentioned it, was MJF also said that because Sammy came out, if anybody comes out to help Jericho at any point for the rest of the other 3 matches, it's off. It's off. So nobody can come save Jericho either.
I don't think. Has Nick Gage ever lost a match? I don't know, because again, I'm not the hugest death match guy. But I think if Nick Gage is smart, right, you take this L on Dynamite on a national stage, because ultimately what he's doing is this is his vehicle to. You just put Nick Gage on AEW Dynamite, the face of GCW. This now gives it's like Wheeler Yuta. He's an IWD champion. He's taking L's. I think they understand like what he's getting into. It's going to be a brutal match. Nick Gage will look like $1 million. Something could happen because the Pinnacle guys could come out. Some shenanigans could happen. Jericho gets a dirty pin, but still, this is Nick Gage taking an L. I don't think in this situation is going to in any way ruin his credibility. If anything, this just blew his stock up because they're basically now saying we are giving a prime main event spot to what some call a indie mud show guy, right? And I hate that term, but there's a whole, but they're saying, look, this is a big deal. And now everybody's going to be in GCW going, I got to know more about this Nick Gage guy. I'm going to go do some research when I get off at this thing and watch a few matches.
100%. And it helps everybody. Cause guess what? Like, there's a big pay-per-view for GCW this weekend, and Nick Gage is fighting Matt Cardona, like Pluggo just mentioned. Like, him showing up on Dynamite on that platform and them giving a plug for that pay-per-view this weekend, like, that's going to get GCW more buys too. So it helps them. It helps AEW. We get to see Nick Gage fight on Dynamite, which is awesome. That's cool for him.
I almost forgot.
Get that platform,
Mox has nothing to do right now. Mox and Gage got it.
And they've been building to that for a while. Cardona, the reason why he fooled everybody is because he got in the ring doing the John Moxley dance, and everyone thought it was Moxley trying to get Gage again because they've been messing with each other. And then it was Cardona, and that's what turned into this magnificent angle,
So did MJF say specifically Inner Circle cannot help? Because
I would have to go back and watch it. I think
if Mox comes out, takes out Gage,
that's a way around it. As we're going to talk about momentarily here, Mox needs something to do because we're going to get into the main event in a minute. The
Parrish's comment about MJM helping Gage win dirty, that would
end the Jericho thing.
That would end the stipulation.
And we assume Jericho's at least getting to the MJF match. Otherwise,
then this was for
it wouldn't be not for not.
Or at least he gets to the last labor.
Exactly. Like he's getting to the end of something, like either the last labor or to the MJF match. I would.
By the way, if the second labor is an all-out brawl with Nick F and Gage,
this was my second question. This was my second question. How is this not the final labor?
Unbelievable.
What are they gonna do?
Unbelievable.
If the next match is a wrestling match against like Wardlow,
Daniel Bryan. No, I'm just kidding.
if this third match is like, you have to face Wardlow one-on-one, I'm gonna be like, really?
Yeah, Nick Gage should have been third. if there's more, if you have to top this for the next two, you can't go in reverse. So
there's five.
Hardest match should be the second one. Like if I'm Jericho, I'd be like, damn it. Like this would be the last one I would want. I don't want to do this. I got to fight twice more after this. Oh, the hell with you.
He's going on tour after this 4.
Yeah, he's going on tour after
3 more.
MJF ends him. He's going on tour,
100%. There's 5 labors. That means there's 3 more after the Nick Gage one.
Oh my God! All right, let's talk about this Fight for the Fallen show next week. Now, we obviously just mentioned Jericho versus Gage. We're also having Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. We're having Christian and the Jurassic Express versus the Hardy Family Office. Hikuleo is fighting the winner of Jon Moxley and Lance Archer, which we're going to talk about right now after the rest of this lineup. They have said that Tony Khan is going to announce a major new live event. So we're going to be getting a new live event debuted by Tony Khan on the show. And then we have that big 5-on-5 Survivor Series style elimination match between the Elite and Hangman and Dark Order. And if Hangman and the Dark Order win, they get a shot at both the world title and the tag team title. So a lot of stakes in that match as well. And then they also announce in 2 weeks that we're going to see Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes on Homecoming. Yes. That's a huge main event in 2 weeks. Holy moly. I'm shocked they're doing that on regular television. They could have built that to All Out if they want. Don't get me wrong. I'm not upset. I'm shocked. I'm not upset. But yeah, God, that's going to be a goodie. All right, let's get into this main event. It was Jon Moxley. It was Lance Archer. It was a Texas death match, and it was for the IWGP United States Championship. Good Lord, they beat the shit out of each other. This was something. They destroyed each other. I thought, I don't want to jump to the end. I want to talk about the match. But when we get to the result, this is something that Matt and myself have been talking about for a long time. Ed, you said that sometimes people go away or they kind of lose track on people. I thought Lance Archer is an example of that. I think when Lance Archer first got there, he was the murder hawk, and they made him look like a superstar and all this stuff. And then he lost to Cody, and it just felt like every time he had a big match, he lost. Every time. Mm-hmm. And tonight was the first time, I think, in AEW that he had a really big match, and he won. And he won the IWGP US title. Now, a lot of cool-ass and brutal shit happened before he ended up winning that we're going to talk about, the spots that stuck out to us. But it was good to see a guy like Lance Archer, who desperately needed a big win in AEW, get a monster win in AEW. And I'll let you lead. What were some of the things that stuck about this match, and what did you think about the match in general? I know you're not a huge death match guy. I know this was a little on the brutaler side. Mm-hmm. So what'd you think about this main event?
It was entertaining. It was great. It's brutal, but it's what you expect from these two guys. You come in knowing what you're going to get when they're telling you it's a Texas death match. If there's not blood and there's not pain and there's not, rough stuff going on, you're not doing it right. I didn't see a fork coming out as a, I didn't have fork in my list on my bingo card. I did not have fork to the forehead. That surprised me. But no, I mean, it was a great match. These two guys have absolutely amazing chemistry. They're not fluid by any means, but these two guys know how to work each other's bodies and how to make each other go through pain. And they had a really creative spot where Lance Archer took the security guard, who I'm praying works for the company. Because if that's just arena security and that guy wasn't a plant, then oh boy, they got problems. Yeah. But he takes that dude and he slams him onto Moxley. That was great. I really enjoyed that. It was unexpected. But no, Lance Archer is, like you said, he kind of lost his way, and losing to Cody right out of the gate really felt like it put him down 2 or 3 pegs when they brought him in at such a high level.
Yeah.
And it's why I'm hesitantly worried about this match in 2 weeks with Malachi and Cody, because if Cody wins this again, like he does with most of his feuds, where he comes in with the bright shiny new toy and he wins again, it could be dangerous. But back to Lance Archer, he's finally built himself back up. I think he can get away with getting away from Jake I don't think Jake adds anything to this act anymore. I think if you let the monster and the murder hawk loose now with this title, it could really, really ramp him up. But then again, I'm not sure he gets past next week.
It's very possible. It's very, very possible. Pluggo, what did you think about this main event? What were the things that stood out to you?
That damn fork, like Ed said.
Oh my god, dude. Gnarly.
God,
that was gross. That was gross.
Oh, so the build up to this match, I knew that they were going to make this match because they had all this history, and sorry to my prediction team if I do a prediction team thing for points in another group, and I adamantly was like, Mox is winning. Archer's taking an L here, right? Because like you said, the AEW thing was early on. They needed bigger than life guys like Brody Lee, Archer to take on the Moxes and the Codys, because if Mox is just running through, no offense to guys like Darby Allin and stuff, but dudes that weigh 150 pounds, people are going to be like, AEW, whatever. So they needed the big guys. So Archer got knocked down to Peg 2. So I thought beating Mox on TV in this spot, death match, no death match, pinning him for IWGP title or AEW title, now puts Lance Archer back on the map and makes him instantly credible and instantly relevant, and they can put him into some of these big matches, and I think he's going to do well. I hope that the fork stays away, because that's what scares me, because this show starts with the King of the Death match, and we know some of the things that he does in these type matches, and they brought out just a little fork. What are they gonna do? Like that was my focus of the show. Everything they did tied back into. I was like, well, if they're doing this week, next week I have to see what they top it with.
Yeah,
and that's the ball they're rolling with right now. Moxley taking the L was an interesting call in my opinion, but then you get what's his name? I don't want to butcher his name.
I think it's Hikuleo.
He comes into the ring, gives us a big stare, and he towers.
Yeah, he's taller than Archer.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's a big dude.
And they're
I did some research, by the way, on Hikuleo. He had not wrestled in New Japan from September 2019 until September 2020.
Okay, so he just really came back less than a year ago to wrestle, but he's going to have a big match on AEW next week for that IWGP US title. One of the things that stuck out to me is when Moxley was biting Archer after he had his face all bloodied up and stuff. I was like, man, God, don't you know we were just in a pandemic for. What are you biting someone who's bleeding? That can't be good. You just had a baby.
Yeah.
You just had a baby. Come on.
That's his move.
On.
That's his move. He loves to fight people in these matches.
Oh my God, it's unreal. It's so unreal.
So Pluggo, I saw you post this on Twitter, and I'm going to post it to the three of us because I said this in the waiting room yesterday before NXT. I don't like Moxley coming out to Wild Thing.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
I dug it when he did it the first time, and I was digging it the second week. I liked his theme.
I liked his regular theme. Yeah,
it got me more into the match and had a bigger feel than I think. I know Wild Thing's a crowd pleaser, and it's a nice thing. I don't hate it. I do like. I mean, it reminds me of Rick Vaughn from.
I was going to say it reminds me of baseball. It doesn't make me get psyched for, I don't think Moxley. When I think of all the terms I could think of for Moxley, groovy is not one of them.
I will say this though, him losing tonight and him not really having the next logical is really intriguing because he doesn't have the next logical step. It's very intriguing what they're going to do with him. He did the tag team thing for a while.
Yeah.
He had the IWGP title. It's gone now, so there's no ties there. Do we maybe see him start to creep back into that world title picture where he should be? So there's a lot of opening space. Maybe Miro versus Moxley. Hey, that would be
okay
crazy.
with that.
You know what I mean?
That'd be nice.
And that would be a spot that if Miro takes an L, it's a credible loss. Like losing to John Moxley is not not nothing to write home about. That's a good loss. So
yeah, big time.
I don't know. There's a lot of potential here now that they made this move, and they just elevated another guy into that lower mid, like that lower main card. It's not main card. You know what I'm trying to say? Like upper mid, lower
upper mid, high mid kind of thing.
Yeah, like he's not at the bottom, he's not lower tier, he's not middle. He's just like you could easily just put him into a match with whoever you want in the top card, and he's now credible. He's got a win over Jon Moxley in a death match on Dynamite.
In the main event.
In the main event. Made the man. You just made the man.
Yep, that is true. And that was AEW Dynamite tonight. Excellent show, I thought. Very, very good all the way around. And it looks like next week we might be in store for even a bigger one. And maybe, who knows? We had a bunch of rumors this week. Maybe some of those rumors will come true next week. Who knows? Now the anticipation is there. It's out in the ether. So it's all I'm going to be thinking about. It's when? When am I seeing this?
For the next 5 weeks as we wait for these rumors to come true.
I would 100% bank on that. There are going to be a lot. They got 1 million last week. So there are going to be people watching the show.
Imagine they get that this week too.
I would too. And I bet you next week it might even be higher than this week.
I mean, I as you and I do, JPJ, I know Ed said he's been for the last 3 weeks, right? I appointment view Dynamite for sure.
100%.
I made sure to watch it. But even so, like today, like I couldn't wait to get home, and I kept going, is it 8 o'clock yet? Because I just wanted to know what they were going to do. Like, sure, I'm joking about CM Punk showing up tonight on Dynamite. I wish it would have happened, absolutely. But I know it wasn't going to happen. But still, like, I wanted them to talk about it, make hints about it. You know, I'm looking for that, you know, where's the sign that it's going to happen? You know what I mean? Type deal.
Yeah.
So they are absolutely, like, this is how crazy it is. John Cena and Goldberg just came back like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about that anymore. They're now like, holy shit, AEW is going to get CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and blow up the universe.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just truly amazing. All right, before we get out of here, I want to thank both of you gentlemen for joining me this evening. I want to thank RK Athletics for sponsoring us here at Love Wrestling and all we do here. They're awesome, so check them out on all their social media accounts. Pluggo, I think I see you soon. I think tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think there might be an 11th episode celebration extravaganza retrospective. I think.
It's
something going on tomorrow.
Something's going on. Unfortunately, Alice sent the bill to Spencer early.
Oh, not happy.
I told her, I said, Alice, our accountant, she does a great job. I love the lady. She's fantastic. I told her, nobody gets the check before their meal. Wait till the show's over, then give him the bill. Because now I'm worried tomorrow night we're not going to have lights at 8:30 p.m. on Love Wrestling. I'm going to come into the dark, have to light some candles, and hope that we have a kick-ass show. But Spencer, being, you know, the tightwad that he is trying to hold between two beards down. But we're not going to let that happen. No, tomorrow night, me and you, JPJ, we're going to be killing it.
We know
we're celebrating the 11th episode. Everybody wants to celebrate the 10s. We're celebrating the 1s and 6s, baby.
That's what we do. We know Ed will be there in the chat. He always is. He's always very much involved, enjoying the show in the chat and asking great questions and making some great comments. Carl, thank you for joining us tonight in the chat, my friend. It's always good to see you. Parrish as well. Screw Alice and her. She's wonderful. She
is delightful.
She screwed up. Alice, you're my girl.
Yeah.
You dropped the ball this week. Spencer, he cost us Warren Hayes.
It's true.
He said he couldn't come back.
I didn't want to air the dirty laundry. I'm
going to air it.
Well, Pluggo is his own man. He's going to do things the Pluggo way. It is what it is. You know, the ongoing war with Spencer continues, and I am just an innocent bystander in all of this. And all of
it because of me. He ends up guilt by association. Alice, girl, you let me down today. But that's all right. We're gonna have a really fun show. We're gonna do some interesting stuff. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. And if I'm just gonna knock the rest of my plugs out the way, so we can get to my man Ed down there. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. At Twitter, it's now it's Pluggo _ at Pluggo _ Wrestling Plug Geek, still on Facebook type deal. I'm still working that out. I brought back the squash match today. My podcast I do in my car on my way home from work. I got too excited sitting at work, and I had to let my CM Punk just thoughts just pour out for about 20 minutes. So stop by and check that out. Link will be on the Twitter, Facebook, and all that. So there's where I'll be. See you tomorrow night.
All right, rock and roll. Ed, anything good coming up, my friend? I know you were with us last night as well. So, yeah, what do you got coming down?
I just got the me, Parrish, and I believe the Natural Astrid is going to be joining us for Saturday Reacts this week. So that'll be fun. We're finally getting that show off the ground.
Yes,
so
very excited to watch that.
Any and everything in the week of wrestling that we can think of, we'll react to on at 1:00 on Saturday afternoon. And then we have Sunday brunch coming up this week, and we're not sure what's going on with that, but I'm sure we'll all be there in some form or fashion. In spirit at some point for Sunday brunch.
Yep, 100%. Always doing good stuff here at Love Wrestling. We got stuff coming out every day, whether it's an interview from Spencer or an article from Spencer. We have different streams throughout the week. We got new stuff coming, like that show on Saturday. We got some other new stuff coming. We have Turnbuckle Pod. We have The Mind Behind. We have Love Wrestling Reacts. We have The Wool Report. Tomorrow night, 8:30, we have Between Two Beers. We got a lot of great stuff with a lot of great people. I know I say it every time, but it's just like Kurt Angle. It's true. It's just damn true. I got to say it every time. No, we didn't.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. Spencer,
signed a couple people this last week, though.
Yes, we did. We saw one of the new ones, Astrid, debut with us last night. She was awesome. Killed it. She's going to be doing great things for us. Yeah, man, it's an exciting time at Love Wrestling. It's an exciting time in wrestling, period. Thank you for joining me last night. Thank you for joining us tonight. For Ed, for Pluggo, I am JPJ. Peace out.